Check. Microphone. How are you, family? Welcome to Monday Quality Talks indeed. Yes. How y'all feeling? Can y'all hear me? Is the sound good? I hope so. If not, just let me know in the comments, and I'll make sure to check into that. What's going on? MQT 8, Monday the 21st of December, with yours truly, Boddhi Satva. Thank you for tuning in, family. What a topic today, y'all. What a topic. I took a lot of notes. Like, this is literally the amount of stuff. I mean, it's bullet points, but there's a lot to talk about. And I'm gonna try to keep it concise and within the perimeter of time that I've set for this, which is about an hour. Bree, what do you do, my sister? How you doing? Thank you very much for being here. Tuned in, locked in. Self-sabotage, family. Self-sabotage behaviors. Man. Thank you, beloveds. You know what? It's amazing the amount of people, more than we think of, that practice this really sad behavior of sabotaging themselves. It's so sad and it's so unfortunate because, man, it affects their lives in so many dramatic ways, and the life of people who, they share space and time with. Merci, Nicolas Bonza, bienvenue. For all those of you speaking French or Portuguese only, I'm very sorry for you, but I'm pretty sure if you're here and you're checking out this live, you certainly do understand English. And so you will not hold, any grudge on me if I do continue in English. And so here we go. So I took a couple of notes, right? And I want to start, before I start, developing on the whole thing, I want to talk about, what is self-sabotage behavior. So I wanted to go about it from the internet perspective, and I went on the internet on Google, and I checked it out and said something very simple, but actually pretty straightforward. It's an active or passive behavior to prevent yourself from reaching your goals. It affects relationship, career, personal, life, the way you obviously automatically as a result of that, it affects your self-confidence, it affects your belief in self. And for those of you who know me by now, following obviously quarantine groups on Fridays and my previous Monday talks, I talk a lot on these topics, but today is really the first time I'm focusing on that, because I realized that without even knowing it at a certain point, I also sabotage myself in ways that I did not suspect, interestingly. And so basically some of these very unfortunate effect related to self-sabotage push people to use abuse certain substances. They'll go to, they'll start eating, having unhealthy sexual behaviors. It affects their relationship, it affects their partners, it affects their connection with people, the social interactions, even though They might have some really, really, really good things going on for them. They're just not willing to. They're just not willing to embrace. Because they believe that it's not possible. That they've been told, or they've been made to believe, or they've made themselves believe that whatever someone had to say that was negative about them was actually true. And it starts. We speak often about that. It starts usually at home. It could be a parent, it could be an uncle, an auntie, grandpa, grandma, whatever, and whomever it may be. But the fact of them, teacher, whomever. The thing is that, when you really look into the way how insidious self-sabotage is, it's amazing, because you can be a functional self-sabotager. You know what I mean? I don't know if you can say that in English, but you can still be functioning and still mess things up for yourself and for yourself, because it's actually messing you up more than anyone else. Eventually, yes, when you're within a group and for example, you're at work and everybody depends on you for something, you feel the pressure, then automatically what you do is that you find a way to create a situation where you can blame someone else for your lack of action thereof, or whatever it is that you're doing that's affecting the cohesion of the group and the project. So there's a tendency to not take responsibility and to always find a way to blame others for whatever it is that you're not doing for yourself. And in result of that, it impacts, obviously, people around you and people you're involved with, etc., etc. And so what I want to talk about is obviously, what it is, from a humble perspective, and some of the experiences that I've gathered so far, and little knowledge that I have. So I'm not an expert on the topic. I'm not a doctor. I'm none of that. So, take everything I say with a pinch of salt, like you should anyway. And those are just my personal point of views. So, it only involves, my vision on this topic, and I don't pretend to speak with authority, right? But I do have authority upon my knowledge and upon what I think I've gathered. So I speak in authority and with a certain level of authority upon what I know and what I'm confident to share with you. So that is being cleared and out of the way. I will be going through these bullet points with you guys, and let's just put it this way. When you're looking at the way one sabotage themselves, you might notice that usually there is a picture that you or them, me, whoever, we paint a picture of ourselves that really says a lot. And usually it's within the first couple of minutes of a conversation, you'll hear certain things like, but I don't think I can do this. I'm not this or I'm not that. Whenever there is and obviously, I'm not saying that acknowledging that you don't have the capacity to do something means that you're sabotaging yourself. That's not what I'm trying to say here. But what I'm saying is that a lot of the time, you are skilled, you are capable of, but you've made yourself to believe that you're not. Plain and simple. Let's not go too much in details. Whatever that means for whoever's watching this, and whatever that meant for me, I'm actually going to be talking about that, and maybe it will echo with you, but it will echo with you in some way, shape, or form. But let's just put it this way. For example, when I was a kid, I wanted to become a professional basketball player. I wanted to get to the NBA. My dream was to be, like Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, and Clyde Drexler, the greats, right? A friend of my father came home one time. He's an uncle. I have utmost respect for him, but he didn't know that at the time. He said he didn't say it to me, but he said, yeah, I think he said it to my father, and then I found out, he didn't want to bring my hopes down, but whatever he said was in the lines of the that I wasn't capable or I wasn't able of, or something that implied that, that was a bit of a vain dream, and because I was a bit chubby as a kid, and whatever. I'm pretty sure it would have different opinion on the topic nowadays, because mentalities have evolved, and obviously that situation I was in no way limiting me from being a great scorer and being a great player on the court, and doing things pretty well for somebody my size and height and age and all that. And so it triggered something in me where I stopped believing in myself and my skill as a player, and my game started to go regress. And it wasn't obvious at first, but because it inserted in me self-doubt, and my father, unfortunately, and the family did not invalidate what had been said by just making me believe in myself and just want to surpass myself, then it became part of my reality. It became me. It became obvious to me that well, no matter what I do, I'm just not going to be skilled enough, and while saying that to myself, I'm still training every day, and I'm still waking up super early in the morning before going to school. With my boys, we would be like waking up at like 5 a.m, going for a run, come back at 6:30, around 6:30, 7 a.m, boom, take a shower, go to school. That was the routine. We loved it. We were eating, breathing, everything basketball, right? That was our dream. But then deep inside, I had this doubt. I had this belief that I was not capable of going further than where I was, and yeah, it was sweet and nice, but that's not what my father had seen for me, etc., etc. So here, right then and there, at that very specific point, you can see that somebody implanted in my system the seed of sabotaging myself, right? Much later on, when I went to high school, I came to Europe to study. I was a great basketball player. My level was really high, because I had trained with some pretty dope players back in Central African Republic, and so the trainer was like, yo, this kid is really good. And so I was telling others and not really telling myself that I wanted to go to UCLA, and that was what I was doing, and that was what I was working for. And then my belief that I was not capable of going anywhere, as much as I was trying to tell myself the opposite. So you see, I always had that seed of I'm still going to be able to make it, but it was battling with that sabotage thing that I had going on with myself. And so what happened is that during a training session, I badly injured my knee, really badly. And the way I injured my knee was really silly, because a guy who was actually really jealous, I guess, of how good I was playing, or how much I was scoring during that training, came and did one thing when I was going towards the hoop and mark a point. He ran towards me and hit my kneecap with his knee. So what it did is that it moved my kneecap completely, and so excruciating pain, and right then and there, my dream to become a professional basketball player gone. Because with that kind of injury, it was bad. So you see, that was one aspect of looking into how I sabotage myself. I'm not saying that my mind provoked that accident, but it came, I think, as a result of ultimately not really really fully believing in me. Because that doesn't mean that just because you believe in yourself, you won't have anything bad coming your way. Of course, that's not what I'm saying. But the thing is that exactly to the point, when you believe in yourself is when you're going to have extended amount of challenges coming your way, right? But the problem is that, hey, Emmanuel, what's going on? Welcome. Sister Sandra, everybody, welcome. Thank you very much for being here. And so what happens is that, you can imagine that if as a young child or adolescent, teenager, you have to battle with whatever was implanted in you, as far as like self, destructive sort of like thought process of like, no, I can't do this, I'm not this enough, and I'm not that enough, This all down, sabotaging yourself, as I said earlier. Imagine how that can then, start repercuting itself later on in your life. Not from that, you move to, for example, at school, let's say you kicked it with to one of the pretty girls or pretty boy of the school, and then they would just ridicule you, or whatever it is, and then you start having these doubts. So you believe that you're not worthy of anything, more than what you got, or you're being told that you're a piece of this, you're a piece of that, and you believe and you give credit to that. So ultimately, you start creating around you a set of truths that are obviously absolute lies, completely made up, completely constructed upon how insecure people may feel about you, or how people project themselves on you, etc. It can be so many different things, from you being a chubby child and being told that, you're too fat, you do this, you're good for nothing, to then developing this thing about food. It can be anything. So we're talking about the root of the issue here, and it's very, very difficult to identify that in full honesty without feeling too emotional about it, because it's hard to see yourself in the mirror. It's hard to see that, shit, I got some non-figured out situations that, I thought was okay, but because, I'm okay, I'm a grown up now, and I'm more capable of this, I'm more capable of that. But you realize that sometimes, that even as a grown up, as a grown adult, a little child can reason better than you. So this is the thing, we come with these packages of insecurities, we come with these packages of completely wrong beliefs about ourselves, and that doesn't mean that you cannot acknowledge, obviously nobody is perfect. So what I'm trying to say is that, let's not confuse acknowledging your limitations and believing that you're defined by your limitations. That's the thing. In my opinion, self-sabotage is believing that you're defined by whatever negative experience you have encountered, either through your actions or through actions of others towards you, or whatever anyone has said or done to you. Then you are defining yourself from that point onwards. So if you've been in a terrible relationship, an abusive one, where you've been spoken to as an animal, or even worse than that, and because you're a good-hearted person, and you also have a little bit of insecurities and not sure if you can find better than this, because obviously there's always something good about this, right? There's always something good, no matter how fucked up it may be. There's always that, yeah, but it's okay. That's the thing. When you start accepting the unacceptable, you are building a set of beliefs that, this is just what your worth is. This is just what you deserve. And obviously the other is using that impact, that negative impact on you, to make sure that they emphasize the belief, the destructive belief. And that's the whole thing that's really, really, really important to notice and to take note of as you try to free yourself from whatever sort of fear, whatever sort of construction you built around your personality, and making these walls of lies, these walls of insecurities, and so on and so forth. It's not who you are. That's not who you are. Stop messing around, allowing others to define who you really are. And the problem is that it's hard to know who you are when you've been defined all your life, or you define yourself through how people perceived you. And obviously it starts like that, right? When you raise a child, they're going to look up to you, and or you look up to, your uncle, your mother, whoever it may be. And then you start shaping or, mimicking certain things that will help you define your identity, etc., etc., etc. But the problematic is that some people, no matter how grown they might be, no matter how old they might be, and I noticed that from people, and again, it's not a question of age, it's really a question of how you've addressed and how honest you've been with yourself, and how early are you tackling the issue, so that you don't push forward that really messed up agenda upon your children, and upon people that are with you, who are just wanting to bring you the best, but yet you don't believe you deserve the best. So one has to really be very careful to keep on checking themselves as to how much they accept when it comes to bullshit, when it comes to nonsense, when it comes to disrespect, when it comes to anything that is not helping them elevate, helping you as a human feel elevated. That doesn't mean that nobody should, stick your nose to your own shit if you fail to see it or fail to acknowledge it. Of course, that's fine. But again, you should not be defined through that lens or through that perspective. And you should not define yourself through that lens or perspective at all. As a matter of fact, just because you made a mistake, or just because you had an encounter that was not fortunate, does not mean that you don't deserve better. Now, the problematic is that, again, this is my opinion. When you start believing that, oh no, this that I'm going through, or this and that and that and that, no, it's because I'm not this enough, I'm not that enough. What happens? You become overly saturated with a projection of a super confident person. You act all this, you act all that, both men and women, and usually you'll take material stuff or physical traits or whatever it may be to cover up for whatever it is that you're missing. It can be, and I'm not saying that everybody who does these things necessarily is potentially hiding this self-sabotaging behavior. But all I'm saying is that we all want to be seen as pleasurable and as nice as we want people to see us. It's not always the truth, it's not always whatever, but that's how, we put an image of ourselves out there that's, that's acceptable, that's polite, that's well polished, that's well arranged. Look at social media. So now this is the thing. The problematic is that how to identify if you're about this sabotaging of self is understanding that everything you do needs to be echoed with a validation, needs to receive a validating feedback from someone or a group of person. That's obviously why we all do what we do. Well, as artists, right? For example, when we post something online, or when I do these things, obviously it is gratifying and it is validating to know that y'all are connected, y'all are going to be spending an hour with me, listening to me talking about a given topic, right? And obviously when you post on Instagram, and you post like a picture of you with a loved one, or you by the beach, or you in your shower room, or whatever the case, or bedroom, this and that, in this position, that, this, whatever. Everybody is looking to show a side of a moment in their lives, right? because we have to acknowledge the fact that life is hard. We all know that. We don't want to be reminded that. We're being reminded enough about how tough and how messed up things are in life, especially with this whole, pandemic we've been going through this whole year, and how messed up it has been for all of us, etc., etc. So it's very easy to fall into complete and total negativity. And so that starts enhancing senses and ideas and beliefs that, you know what, I am not worthy. So because I don't feel worthy and I don't feel enough for myself, let me try to look and be enough for others. Let me explain. If all you be showing is you in your whip, rocking the latest this, the latest that, or going on vacation and living your best life, and that's great. Nobody says that this means that you're again, you might think that I'm straying away from the topic, but I'm not. You'll see what to my point exactly where I'm going. You are just pretty much showing an image of yourself that you want people to see, but that may not always be who you are. Fair enough. Social medias, social networks, you don't want people to see your true life. They don't need to know da. Fair enough. It's normal. Now, all right. You sell me an image of somebody. Oh, let's not even go far. I sell you an image of somebody that's very strong. It's that, yeah, I'm that. Okay, no, I control this. I got this all covered. Cool. Now, you get the chance to hang out with me, maybe for, a couple of hours at a venue where I perform, or, anywhere. And you start engaging in a conversation with me. And the next thing you notice is that the person that you're seeing on this side of the screen and on your side at the moment you meet that person is completely not the same. I mean, physically, yes, but like, oh, snap. That's if all I've been putting is a facade, because that facade covers up for my lack of confidence in everything else that obviously I've believed to be defining me. I'm not good enough, I'm too fat, I'm too this, I'm not enough that, I'm too much that. All these constructions. Then comes the idea of success. Spoke about this last week, and this is echoing the conversation that I had with y'all last week about success. This is the thing. Nothing successful can be achieved and reached if you keep feeding yourself thoughts that are depreciative, negative, obviously, to summarize the whole thing, and then making them part of you. You will appear successful, and you can be, again, a functional self-sabotage practitioner. Because some people know very well how to function within the realm of how they sabotage themselves. For example, procrastination. I'll do this tomorrow. Especially when it comes to well-being. Hey, you know what? You should, come on. Check this link out. Somebody that might motivate you, give you some inspiration, and show you some love, and within the words that they speak, you might be inspired. Papa Kesha, yes sir. Merci beaucoup. For example, you then get that link from that friend, and you're like, oh, I don't have time to check that now, but I'll check it later. Okay. Yeah, but oh my God, you complain. So that's another thing. Self-sabotage behavior is also about complaining all the time about stuff. this is never good enough, this is never that enough, this is never this enough. It's always because of an external reason, and it's always because of something that you don't have control upon. That's another thing that people with self-sabotage behaviors practice a lot. And I get it, because you're not able to hold yourself accountable, because it brings you back to seeing yourself as a piece of shit that you're not, but you've built yourself to believe that you are a piece of shit, because of whatever people say to you or however people saw you. That's just the belief that you built, right? So, you procrastinate, you can't commit to anything. It's really hard, especially relationship. You want it, but then when it comes, you're not sure, so you have a hard time committing. You have a hard time even communicating with your friends, and being a so-called good friend, and so you also have this this issue to acknowledge that those people who want your best interest are really those you need to keep around you, because as much as they by their actions they're forcing you to dig into whatever doesn't feel right, they are the ones that will provide you the opportunity by being there for you, providing you with the things that you actually truly need. It will give you the opportunity to really tap into what is essential, and then start working in a constructive way towards your healing, and defeat these negative thoughts. But instead, the problem is that it's always easier to be negative. It's always easier to talk badly about somebody. It's always easier to just feel shitty every day, because feeling good is super hard. It's true. It's not easy. Not everybody can be. Supposedly. So what you're gonna do is surround yourself with people who validate you in your actions, in your lack of actions, or in whatever it is that is an absolute nonsense to really the service of yourself, right? So anything that doesn't benefit you is exactly what you're going for. A disrespectful relationship, so because you're sabotaging yourself with everything that you're doing, whether it be work, whether it be anything, you obviously don't want. That's the thing. The problem with somebody who have a sabotaging behavior is that it's not that they want to sabotage themselves, it's just that they are scared. They're not capable of moving beyond the fear, beyond whatever construct. Again, I spoke about that construction of that negative wall construction. You know what I mean? Like, it's there and it's protecting you from the rest of the world, and it's safe because beyond these walls, oh my God, it's too bright, it's too this, it's gonna shake me from actually believing in myself, of my true self. You see, the thing is this: we all talk about, Illuminati this, the government that, this and this and this and that. They're lying. The number one thing that we need to work on, before we worry about indeed those lies and all these things, fair enough, is the biggest liar there is in the room, which is you yourself, me, myself. When I believe that if at a certain point I see a goal, I see a target, I see something that I want to accomplish, but I believe that I cannot do it, just as I explained to you when I was a kid, and I was told, a friend of my father told him that, I was never going to be able to, reach my dream to get to the NBA. That planted a seed in me, because he was such a big guy as well, who was connected with NBA players at the time, that when he said that, then I just took it for granted, when I just should have been. And the truth is that I was working to try to prove him wrong, but I had already had this defeated mind. He defeated my purpose, So, you're in an abusive relationship. super complex, because some people can be so aware of the situation, they know it's not good for them, but then the reflex in their because they also, again, because you're sabotaging yourself doesn't mean you're a bad person. That's the thing. You are not a bad person. You have just built such a wall of sabotaging beliefs that you're not capable to see that you cannot save anyone if you don't save yourself first. And as a matter of fact, you cannot save somebody who does not want saving. But there's also that savior complex. So it's like, okay, so there's this very strange lack of balance with people who are, really unaware of how their sabotaging behaviors affect their lives. And some of them are, and actually I think most people are aware, but they just feel incapable of going out of that, mind frame and that belief that they've built for themselves. I really think that it's just too hard. It's just too hard, and it feels like it's an insurmountable mountain and challenge. But the thing is that control that you want, right? That control that you want, because it's the thing. Okay, cool. Fuck it. Yes, I'm a functional. My sabotaging behavior is still functional because, at least I'm controlling. This is what I wrote. I'm controlling the negative outcome given or brought to me as a result of my negative perception of myself. I don't know if you understand what I just said. So somebody who sabotaged themselves, no matter what, is comfortable in that sabotage and that continued behavior because the sense of control it gives them, even if the outcome is negative, is better than losing control upon, which is so abstract, losing control upon something that actually will lead them to gain control over what caused the sabotaging behavior in the first place. My personal reading on the topic and personal experience as well. So you see, anything that seems to be a challenge lead somebody who is into sabotaging themselves will lead them to be comforted in the fact that, well, you see, it doesn't work, so it's not good for me. Okay, have you tried enough? I don't need to try enough. It's not good for me. Okay, all right. Okay, so what do you want to do? I don't know. All right. Okay, so take a moment and think about it. All right, yes, I know. All right, what do you want to do? I want to do this. All right. I want to grow. Grow flowers. Fantastic. Oh, but they're not growing fast enough. Okay, but that's the process of nature. There's a point where you gotta understand when you plant the seed, it needs to take a moment before it actually, turns into an actual proper flower. Don't you understand that, right? You can't just rush things because, yeah, but it's it's not going fast enough, or it's not this enough, so it's not good enough. So everything is serving as an excuse to justify and comfort that person in their chosen behavior, their chosen set of actions that define their lives. And again, this idea of control, even if the outcome is always negative, is a control that they have, and that's what they're comfortable in, and that's what they're comfortable with. And whoever comes with a solution, key in hand, is a threat and is a is a disruptor. And what do you usually do with disruptors that we can see here in the world, in our society? We kill them, we mute them, we dismiss them. So you see, when I injured my kneecap, and it was then obvious to me that I had already that the damages of my beliefs and whatever happened to me physically was such that well, I was like, okay, well, if at least I can't be an NBA player, or I can't go to UCLA or get to the NCAA or whatever, then let me at least prove myself that I can heal that knee. So what happened to my kneecap is that when you rip your kneecap, well, so at the time, I guess, I don't know now, but at the time you couldn't, it's not fixable. So you can either remove it or just keep it like that as long as it doesn't hurt you. And so what I want to say may sound very crazy to some, but again, I don't care because it's factual, something that happened to me. I did it to myself. I started to apply. My mother is in the chat. Lovely. So I started to apply my hands, and I had read in the book that we have the capacity to heal ourselves. So every day I would just massage my kneecap. I would massage it. And my uncle, one of my father's youngest brother, who's an orthopedist, famous surgeon in Switzerland, received me at his house. I stayed with him for about a week, and he took me for some tests, and he was like, "Look, man, this doesn't look like it's gonna get better or anything like that." I was like, "Oh, no worries," I kept on doing this. I don't know how long it took me, but I just kept on I just believed, and I just sent myself so much love and light in my knee. I said, "You know what? You're gonna be strong." I was just talking to myself, and it sounded really crazy. And at the time I was doing it, I really felt kind of weird. I was like, okay, but anyway, what do I have to lose anyway? And then one time, I don't know after how long. It's a bit far back, but it at least took about almost a year. Then went back to the hospital. The doctor did a scan, and he just was like, hold on. I don't see, did you had issues with your knee before? Because I don't see the rip. I said, oh, I don't know. I didn't, I was kind of scared to respond to them and tell them what I was doing to myself, and sending myself energy and all that. And so moral of that story, and what I'm trying to explain to you, is that because obviously they got puzzles, like, oh my God, this is crazy, we've never seen anything like that, whatever, cool. But what is actually very interesting about the story is that I consciously decided to sort of like switch, just switch things around and prove myself that I was capable of really manifesting blessings in my life and being able to change my life in a concrete way. And that was one of the manifestations of that. I can heal myself, I can heal my knee. So if I can heal my knee, I can literally be, and I was 19 years old, so I was freaking young. And that confirmed to me that there's absolutely no limit to what I can do. No matter what would somebody say, I could do it. And at the time, I started in the diamonds industry as a diamond cutter, because obviously, first I was like, okay, well, since you stopped school, it's not for you, it's not your thing, you still gotta learn, you still gotta have develop some other skills and craft. So I became a diamond cutter and a diamond expert very quickly. I was kind of born in it because my father was a diamond dealer already when I was born. So I guess I already had maybe some automatism or something. But regardless of the fact, I learned very, very quickly. And I wanted to prove myself that, and obviously prove my dad that, I'll be the best at that as well, And it was also proving him wrong because of what him and his friend had believed about me when I was trying to be an NBA, player, whatever, basketball player and at a professional level. So from that point on, I decided that everything I was going to do was going to be successful, no matter how much it was going to take of work, but I was going to do it. And I believed in myself. Now, the kicker and the point of Sabotage was that I had an issue with money. In the sense that for me, money was dirty. Money was bad. I was made to believe that, well, and not even made to believe, but I didn't grow up poor. I had all you can think of as far as, care and, having access to anything and everything you can think of. So, but outside of my house, the property, my friends, my childhood friends were poor. They had barely anything. Their parents were poor, etc. So what we would do, my mother and my father would, they would always bring my friends on the weekends. We would invite them over. They would eat, stay at home, whatever. And then when we would go to Europe, come back, there would be gifts. I would always give my sneakers. I mean, there's always I was always feeling extremely bad about my whereabouts in my life, and that I was doing good and they were not, and I was feeling guilty. So you have this imposter type of complex, where you're like, shit, am I really what I pretend to be, this and that and the other? And so money for me was great. I knew it was great. I knew it was necessary and it was needed. I needed it to pay bills and this and that and the other. But again, I was functionally sabotaging myself. So as I was sabotaging myself, making myself believe that money is bad, money is this, money is that, yet I was involved in a business. Well, I fast forwarded, I'm sorry, but after the diamonds thing happened, I did that for a little while, but then circumstances outside of my control, fortunately, forced me to make a career change and recalibrate myself to really embrace my passion, which I had been doing through and through and through, but as a side thing, which was music, and it really became obvious and serious. And when it did, there was this interesting contrast with the fact that I was in the entertainment business and unable to see that money was something that was obviously involved in that business I'm in. And so that's why for the longest time I had a discourse and a way of approaching money that was just like allow people to disrespect me, even though my talents was worth much more money than some of those people were paying me, or how some of those people were treating me, or I was letting them treat me this way because I believe that because that's just how I considered myself. I didn't value myself. I didn't value my talent. And I did this for many years. And yet I was super talented. Well, still am. But, I was seen as one of the best producers in my industry, etc., still am. And I was still not seeing it. I was still not grasping the magnitude of my talent. I was unable to grasp it, and yet I was projecting an image that it made it feel like, I know, but I was never a cocky guy anyway. So, I was masking my lack of confidence behind my humility. I sabotaged myself big time for many years. So I know what I'm talking about when it comes to sabotaging myself. When it comes to work, but also relationship, because let me just close that aspect, that example of work here. When I was made aware by a couple of people that I had met through my career, very wealthy people, successful people, and one of them is obviously my good brother Keisha, and some other amazing humans that have made it obvious to me that I was being a fool, not realizing who I am. I know who I am. I knew who I am. I knew my capacities. I just had an issue with the outcome of what my capacities and my skill could bring. Yet I needed what that outcome is, which is the moolah. So how can you be prosperous if everything that you do is rooted in a dry, unhealthy soil? Believe me, everything that came out of that soil because of my self-doubts is about a fourth in the strength of things, because it was just mad. Like, and that's why I said it for the longest time. I was always surprised when people told me they were loving my music and they were like, "Oh my God, thank you so much." I would always be like, "Okay, yeah, thank you." I acted, but I was not sure of myself. I was like, "Yeah, all right, okay, whatever." So the day I switched that thing up, yo, everything changed, man. Everything changed. Can nobody come to me now and, "Are you mad?" Hey, look, been there, done that. Enough. Relationship, we all have our downfalls. We all have things that hold us back from manifesting our complete, total, and absolute selves as we embark on a journey with another person, as we embark in a relationship. Even though I never had issues with women, I never felt like it was difficult for me to find somebody. And that was even before I was known in my industry, so it never really was an issue. But the issue was my belief. I started to make myself believe that. Thank you, Janice. Thank you very much. Welcome to MQT. I made myself to believe that I was not worthy of love, even though that's what I wanted. But everything, and that also I needed to save. I had this savior complex problem. I would see women wounded by other men, and I wanted to save them. I wanted to shower them with all the love I could give that my mother and my father taught me to have, that my upbringing was. I never seen, like, I think the first time I really saw my parents arguing, I was probably 16 or 15, I think. And before that, they would just never argue before us. They would just treat their issues on their own. Yeah, sometimes we'd hear a conversation, but it would just never be, my father, thank God, never rose his hand on my mom. I think it happened once, and I think he never did it again. It was at the early stages of their relationship, and she was like, "You do that again, I'm gonna kill you." So, and my father was young. My father was 12 years younger than my mother. So, and they got married very young. My father was 20 or 21, no, 20 years old when I was born. My mother 32 at the time, or 33. So yeah. Anyway, I was born, I think, a year later. Whatever. And they stayed married together for 25 years. And a very, very, very powerful, successful couple. And she helped shape my father and make my father into the man that he became, and very successfully. So I wanted to save these women. I wanted to save them from themselves. And that reflex, I still have it in a way. Not saying that there's anything wrong with trying to help, women see that there are men who exist who are, also there to be the, not the good Samaritan, but like, there's not just assholes out there, you know what I mean? And those assholes, unfortunately, are wounded little boys in the body of a grown man, lifting 350 pounds or whatever the case may be, And so this is why, these behaviors of sabotage have to be treated at the root. As you can see, I can count you precisely some of the things that have led me to build these sabotage reflexes, right? Because I've done the work. to go deep, to go as far back as I can. Also because as Africans, we don't believe, especially African parents, we don't really believe in psychologists and all that thing. So, hey, look, yeah, that's cool, but that's not for us. So I had to, and it's cool. I mean, honestly, like I don't regret any of it because it helped me strengthen my character and it helped me, but I've always been but also because I'm very cerebral as well, I always searched to find answers to my questions and to look into anything that was mind related, spirit related, etc., so that I could better understand and better address issues. But sometimes, yes, indeed, at a certain point, then you evolve out of that concept and idea, and then you meet people along the line and along, through your life journey, especially if you're in search of your own truth and you're in search of finding, whatever's blocking you from accomplishing your greatness, because that's what it is. Then you start seeing, tapping into knowledges from people like, man, I keep talking about this guy, Joe Dispenza, man. Like, this guy blew my mind, and I discovered him about 2 years ago, not even. And I knew before him, like, there was a Tony Robbins, there's this, there's that, there's, Jiddu Krishnamurti, so many names, so many, Sadhguru, name them. And when you do the work, when you do your research, when you have a desire to really understand what is holding you, what is blocking you, because it's one thing to intellectually understand the situation, but it's another to actually let that information sink in your heart, your core. Just like when somebody tells you, oh man, girl, this guy's bad for you. Like, honestly, like, yo, you gotta leave him. That woman is not gonna leave this man, or this man is not gonna leave that woman until they understand in their core that they are being destroyed by a human being, no matter how much they love them. And the reason why they love them is because they see the potential. But the potential is not the factual truth, is what somebody could be. But that person will not be if they don't see it for themselves, or they see it but they don't see you being part of that equation, because they are not able to control the negative outcome that they want to see. It's very abstract. It's like, if you have been used to dealing with people who abuse you verbally, dismiss you, whatever, and yet you're not supposed to be, attracted to that or going for that, but yet you repeat the same patterns because what? Instant gratification. We need more likes. We need more. We need to show more. Let me show more skin. Let me get attention. Let me get this. This attention sinking. And it's always so funny to me because it's always getting in the. For some women, it's like, I'm expressing my power as a woman. I get it. For some women, I get that. But for a lot, it's like only Jesus can judge me. But then the shit that you be showing is like, you're gonna attract the wrong person, because this is some of the effects of sabotaging yourself. No, it's my freedom. Yes, it is your freedom, without a doubt. Hey, everybody's free nowadays, but so do whatever you want. But don't be surprised that the outcome or the result of this might be, and will most of the time be, negative. Because within these sets of negative experiences, there's always going to be life. Oh, and it's the beauty of life, man. Life gives you people to enlighten you, to show you that you are worthy of love, you're worthy of all of this. But then there's a reflex so deeply synced in you that you're not good enough. That the number one thing you're gonna find is a way. Humans are funny, man. Hey, Lord. The number one thing you're gonna find is a way out of that situation, because you're just not used to it. You're just not believing it. I love you, even if you just woke up in the morning, or you know what, I think you can do this. Yeah, but I don't have the diplomas, or I don't have the skill set. You can do this. look, and you show the person, and you literally show them by example, and by letting them do it, but just by guiding them through and through, and they're like, oh my God, yeah, that's true, you see? But then the walls they built are so thick and so high. There's negative walls of like, sabotaging behavior. Sorry, I was still sabotaging behavior that's so thick and so massive that they're just unable to really believe that they were actually capable. Because you see what? No, but you see, the reason why I managed to do it is because you were there. You see, and you're not letting me be me, and you're not letting me be myself, and you know, just like and that goes both ways, men and women. So I was giving you the example about those on Instagram or wherever they be showing everything and anything they can, and some of them turn that into a business, and that's great. So again, I'm not trying to say that everybody that shows skin or whatever, or cars or financial success or material success, or whatever the case may be, are people who are insecure. But the problematic is that when some of the people doing it are insecure, but yet they're trying to showcase a version of themselves, which I understand. We all want to believe that a part of us is a superhero, and we can conquer, we can do it, because the truth is that our reality is too ugly and too real for us to be capable to still be the superheroes we believe to be in this outer ego of ours that is online and that is wherever. The person that you're seeing here, me, Boddhi Satva, Armani Kombo Nagemo, is somebody that is a result of all my journeys, my mistakes, my experiences, my errors, my trials, my tribulations, my this and that. All of us, that's who we are. However, I understood very quickly, by experiencing how lies and deceiving, etc., others, lying and deceiving others, which trying to show an image of you that is not you, will bite you back in the butt with no pity, will make you look a fool. That is just like telling, somebody that, I live there. Oh, okay, but when can I come and see you? Let's hang out. I'm a bit busy. And every time, then the one time, bad luck for you, that person passed from that street and they see you. Oh my God. There's no shame. Stop sabotaging yourself, believing that you're not capable of accomplishing a greater version of who you were meant and you are meant to be. How do you stop the sabotage of self? I will take 5 more minutes to develop quickly on that, because I think that this is another video that would be required for this, but it's important to talk about the solutions, even though some of the solutions are already expressed in what I said. I think personally that, number one, I took some notes. So if you want to take notes, you can. It's up to you. You have to have a vision. That vision of yourself, you have to feel it. And once you actually feel it, as in, okay, let's say 2020 was a shitty year, right? So, but shit, I'm not sure if I should really be raising my hopes too high, because 2021 might be as shitty as 2020. Okay, yeah, I mean, technically it will be as shitty as 2020, if probably not worse or whatever. Who knows? But what do you have control on? That outcome. That is outside of you, really, because it's the overall global experience that everyone is going to have, but how you're going to look at it is going to be different. So how about you dream into who you want to be next year, or what you want to see accomplished next year? What's up, Sister Christelle? So good to see you. Once you understand that you need to believe by feeling, as in, next year I want to be Barbados. I want to be in Barbados on a yacht. Stupid example, but that's the idea, you know. And I want to be, you know, comfortable, and I want to feel good, and, you know, all right, cool. When you think about it, you can literally see yourself, right? Cool, that's great. Can you actually feel it? Can you actually feel yourself? Can you sense the perfume of the sea? Can you feel the texture of the boat, of the leather on this boat? Can you see and visualize yourself physically there at that moment in that projected reality? All right. Now, you need to take action. You need to really move in order for that to become a reality. Obviously, if you're trying to be a billionaire in the next 7 months, I don't think it's going, or a multi-millionaire for that matter, sorry. You don't need to be a billionaire for that, but a multi-millionaire or a millionaire for that matter. Unless you do some shady business or you win in the lottery or whatever the case may be, which I obviously wish for you. And if you do so, please give me 5%. I'm joking. But it is very unlikely that you'll be able to accomplish that very fast, unless you make six, good. I'm talking about normal, regular people, who have limiting beliefs. You may not get Barbados, but you might get Marbella. And you may not get the yacht, but you might get a smaller boat with a couple of friends. And that's the idea. That doesn't mean that 3 years from now, things switch up in your life, and not only you own the yacht, but then you own the island that's docking on which the yacht is docked. Feel me? So it's all about understanding your purpose, and I'm giving you a practical, materialistic example because that's, I guess, usually what most people can relate to. But you got to kill your limiting beliefs. You really have to. When somebody tells you you can do this, no, fuck you, I can do it. And yeah, I may not be able to do it 100% this or that way. Obviously, if you want to fly, let's be real. And even then, it might be possible at some point with how technology is evolving now, and how things might get, but we're not there yet. So for now, can nobody be flying, by the power of their decision? Even though that could be discussable, but yeah, that's another topic. Because some people, by the power of meditation, are able to do some really amazing things. But anyway, talking about practicality here. If that's what you want to do, you might be able to do that by using your chi. The truth is that there's technically nothing that is impossible, both in the greatness that can come to you or the absolute negative stuff that can happen to you. So which one do you want to take control upon? You want to take control upon the thoughts that don't limit you, that literally transform you into a limitless, boundless human, a boundless creation. Look, I know it's not easy. Number one here to testify to that. But if I can do it, many have done it, many will do it, why not you? That doesn't mean that, it's all figured out. But this is the key, actually. This is the actual secret. It's killing your limiting beliefs. Killing what has been induced in you, what you've actually accepted as truth about you. Whatever that means for you. Reconstruct yourself, reconstruct your thought process and your vision of yourself by understanding the necessity of stopping with certain behaviors, instant gratification, tendency of blaming others for what is not happening for you, by you, tendency of rejecting anything and everything that can be positive for you, as in not stupid as behaviors of running away from your reality, but actually given tools to find peace through the meditation. It could be, the practice of repeating a word that can be a mantra. Whatever the case may be, you figure it out. But the moment you start rejecting the love, the care, the support of people that truly want to see you being your best, and the moment you realize that you're capable to be accomplishing anything and everything you want to see coming to fruition in your life, oh man, you become limitless. You become just a creator of your reality, and not one that is negative, not one that is filled with messed up and negative outcomes, not one that is filled with toxic relationships, toxic friendships, etc., etc. The sooner you do it, the better. And then, once you start tapping into some deeper knowledge, deeper science, you realize that you're actually capable of completely modifying your having actually a powerful effect and impact on your body, physical, metaphysical, etc., by the power of your mind, by the control of your thoughts. Man, it's amazing what we can do. Listening to yourself, listening to your body, listening to what feels right, your gut feelings, to this, to that. You are, and that's something that, people love to say, but I don't think they grasp the power of that word. You are divine by design. You're not just a piece of flesh. So honor who you are and what you are and who you can be. Thank you very much, family. This was MQT8, December the 21st. The last Monday Quality Talk of 2020, which I hope might help you end this next week or so. This till next week. Yeah, so there's 2 more to go. But these are the last ones, and I hope that they will resonate with you in a positive way. And again, I don't pretend to have all the answers, but I can only speak on what I've practiced for myself, what I'm practicing for myself, because it's an everyday practice. It's not a situation that you do it today and it's okay tomorrow. No, it's every day. 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 It's like a muscle. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being there. Please make sure, of course, you do show some love. Repost this talk, some of the recaps I'm going to be posting about today's talk. And of course, if you haven't yet, get your products, get your Boddhi Satva products. You can scan this QR code that is here on my left. If you're watching this from your TV, or you just go to boddhi.satva.com, or you can just click on any of the links here below, and you will see a bunch of ways for you to support, because indeed it is utterly appreciated. With that being said, I thank you for honoring me with your presence. I'll see you this Friday for Quarantine Grooves 90. Yeah, we'll see you then. I'm thinking of changing the hours of Quarantine Grooves, maybe starting at 90 and starting later, because a lot of you, especially in the East Coast, even though you're used to the time that I'm doing the show at now, I think that if I was to do it for y'all in New York or wherever you are in the East Coast, or yeah, East Coast most definitely of the US. 6 p.m. for you might be better, and 10 p.m. here seems like it's an okay time. But on Friday, so you let me know. This is democracy, so feel free to let me know what you think about quarantine rules being done at 10 p.m. UK and Portugal time. But yeah, until then, until Friday, which will still be 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. GMT +1, so that's UK time. We have time to think about all this together. Have a blessed and fantastic start of your week, and may you be prosperous in everything that you embark yourself upon. And yeah, I'll see you this Friday and next Monday for another NQT. Thank you very much, yo.